A lot of business owners think a book becomes something you write after you've made it. So after you've grown the business, after you've built the brand, after everything is polished and you're sold out, you're booked up. But the truth is the complete opposite. It's the book that builds the business, not the other way around. And I don't just say that because it sounds great in theory. I say it because it's literally how I built mine. Before Impact Group Publishing existed, before I coached authors, before I helped people turn their expertise into books in 6 months, I wrote my own. And that book was called The 6 Pillars of a Rewarding Life. And that book, even with all its imperfections, was the first real domino that tipped everything else over. So today I want to break down why your book can be the asset that builds your business faster, clearer, and more powerfully than almost anything else, and how it was the catalyst that eventually led me to starting Impact Group Publishing. So what a book does is a book actually clarifies your message, and it's long before your business does, right? So when I wrote my first book, The 6 Pillars of a Rewarding Life, I didn't have a business model, I didn't have a brand, I didn't have a niche, I didn't even have a plan. But what I had was a desire to help people, but no real structure around what that looked like. And the book forced me to find that structure. It made me shift through my experiences, my beliefs, my ideas, and decide what actually mattered. You see, most people try to build a business while their message is still blurry, and that's why everything feels heavy. But a book fixes that, right? It forces clarity, it forces decisions, it forces you to articulate your philosophy in a way that other human beings can use. And once you've done that, building a business becomes 10 times easier because now you're building around something solid. And that's exactly what happened to me. So the book clarified my message. Something interesting happened. People started seeing me differently, right? I didn't change. My experience didn't magically increase. I wasn't suddenly more qualified, but the perception shifted because books put you in a different category. A book makes you the person who's organized the thinking in your industry. And when you're the one who organizes the thinking, you become the authority. And that authority is what made people buy quicker. It's what opened the doors to coaching. And that authority is ultimately what turned Impact Group Publishing from an idea to an actual business, right? Not because I was the biggest name, not because I had the biggest following, but because I had a book. Your book becomes the proof of your expertise long before your business is big enough to prove it for you. Now, here's what a book also does. It attracts the right clients, so you don't have to chase them, right? So before I had a business, I had conversations. People would read my book and say, I feel like you wrote this for me. Can you help me with this? I've been trying to do this for years, and those conversations became coaching calls. Those calls became clients. Those clients became results. And those results became the early backbone of Impact Group Publishing. So I didn't have to pitch. I didn't have to convince. I didn't have to chase. The book pre-sold the value. And that is always why I will give people my book for free, right? So by the time someone spoke to me, they already trusted me. They already understood my process. They already knew the way I thought. It's the same thing I tell clients now is you don't write the book to get clients. You write a book so that the right clients can find you. And your book then becomes the filter, the magnet, the qualifier. Impact Group Publishing, it exists because a book did that for me first, right? So your book gives your business a framework. Now, most businesses fall apart because they don't have a consistent method. They're selling talent, they're selling effort. When I wrote Publish to Impact, I documented the system, right? So the same system I put inside my Idea to Impact program where we help you become an author in 6 months. And when I put that in the book, something clicked, right? It wasn't a book anymore. It was intellectual property, a repeatable pathway. It was a method. It was a process. And once you have a method, you have a business. Impact Group Publishing is built off of the framework that started from inside that book. So you can see now how a book forces you to create something that can scale because you can't fill like 40,000 words with vague advice. You need structure, you need a journey, and you need actual transformation. And once you have that, you have the foundation for a coaching program, a group offer, a system, a brand. So your business becomes an extension of your book. Now, a book also makes you think bigger than you would have on your own. And this part most people don't expect. When I wrote The 6 Pillars of a Rewarding Life, I didn't think I'm going to start a published company. I wasn't even close. I just wanted to write, get the words out there. But writing forces you to zoom out, right? It forces you to see patterns in your own thinking. It forces you to realize the depth of what you've actually lived and learned. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the more I wrote, the more I realized that there were thousands of people who needed this, people who were stuck, people who were overwhelmed, people who had a book inside them but no path to follow. And that's when the idea for Impact Group Publishing was born, right? Not because I woke up one day and said, I want to run a book publishing brand, but because writing showed me where I could create the most impact. And your book reveals opportunities that you can't see yet. It shows you the market you're meant to lead. It shows you the business you're meant to build. You're not just writing a book, you're discovering the business inside you, right? So if there's one message I want you to take from this video is you don't write a book once your business is successful. You write the book so your business can become successful. Impact Group Publishing exists because the book came first, okay? And all of it started with writing. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping business owners do the same, because most of the success you want won't happen after the book. It happens because of the book. So if you're ready to build the book that builds your business, just get my book published to Impact below. I'll send you my free copy and it is going to get you started. And if you do want help shaping the book that positions you as the authority, the link to book in for a strategy call is below. Your book is an asset. Your business is what's going to grow from it. So let's build it together.